My name is Claudia Moore Sundberg, and I grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. At the age of 10, we moved to Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. Wauwatosa is a really nice, old community, and it's a great place to grow up. I now live in Waupaca, Wisconsin, and I live here with my husband, Jeff. In the spring of 1969, I discovered that I was pregnant with my high school sweetheart at the time, experiencing some lower back pain. And my parents sent me to the chiropractor who took x-rays. Well, the chiropractor had contacted my parents and told them that I was pregnant. And I really didn't have like any morning sickness or any signs. I think my body was just in complete denial of everything. So I went home and my parents confronted me, and we went on from there. My parents were very, very supportive and just wanted to help me in any way that they could. We decided that I was going to remain home during the last 3 months. I was a senior in high school at that point, and they got me a tutor, and we also contacted Milwaukee County because we, as a family, decided that I was going to put my baby up for adoption. And I had a county social worker who was also very, very helpful and very sympathetic and empathetic. And she worked with me through the last 3 months of my pregnancy. I also had a really great support system in a couple of my really close friends. We didn't, at that time, this wasn't something that happened a lot, especially in Wauwatosa. So I only told 2 of my friends, and I also, the county also put me in touch with this group from St. Joseph's Hospital in Milwaukee. That was a group of unwed mothers, and it was like a prenatal course, but it was different because we were all giving our babies up for adoption. But anyway, I went to these classes and was preparing for the birth, and it was very scary. You know, I had no idea what was really happening to my body, and so I had a lot of support going through this. When women gave birth in those days, nobody was allowed into the delivery room with the mother, but my mother was the one that took me when I started going into labor. But I did have the option of either seeing my baby or not. Knew me being me, I couldn't see her. I opted not to, and so I don't even recall the actual birth because they kept giving me gas or something. So I woke up and there was no baby there. They just took me to my room. At that time, you were in the hospital like 3 or 4 days. I was told that the due date would be the end of June, but this little bugger came on June 2nd. And so I was really able to even go and graduate with my class. There might be a few misconceptions from back then about adoption. One thing, women give up their babies. It's not easy. It's not like they don't want them. It's that they can't take care of them. They love their babies very much. It's not something that you just all of a sudden say, okay, I'm going to do this. You really have to think it over. Once it was over, my parents kind of like, okay, you know, that's behind us now. And because they were concerned about me, I know they were. And it wasn't like we talked about it after. That was difficult. I couldn't specify, obviously, who I wanted to be the parents, and at that the only thing I could specify was the religion. And I grew up in a Lutheran home, and so I just specified that I would like the baby to be brought up in a Lutheran home.
Meanwhile, across town, there was a couple waiting for a baby.
My name is Betty Lou Marco. I always wanted children, I think, since I was about 12. In the beginning, yeah, he knew just from our conversation and so on, you know, that I wanted a child, a baby, and I found that I couldn't really make one with him, but that I can still have a baby. And went through, we decided to go through adoption, of course, and I got a little job in a store for a while, and in 3 days' time, from the time they told me until the time I met Michelle, you think about it ahead of time, you do. That we went to the hospital and went into where the babies are, and the nurse there had to be the one who held Michelle and everything. I couldn't have her until we went outside and got in the car. Yeah, and then we both just had some tears. It was just beautiful. And she slept. And when we got home, we just, you know, tried to fix the bottle and things like that. And she was sleeping most of that time. Yes. I think what helped that probably was knowing God gave her to me. I should say God gave her to us. Yeah, and it has been, for me, I think even Michelle too, a wonderful relationship. It's just been, I haven't probably a way to compare, you know, in that relationship fashion, but as far as I'm concerned, it couldn't have been better.
Well, in the summer of 1990, I got a letter from Milwaukee County saying that my daughter was looking for me and did I want to be contacted. And oh my gosh, I was so excited. Of course. And I was not able to contact her. She had to reach out to me first and then I could consent to it. And oh my gosh, yeah. And on the first phone call too, it was so neat. I think we talked for an hour, just hearing her voice, and oh my gosh, we talked about everything. She came to Wisconsin to visit like a couple weeks later, and as soon as I saw her, oh my gosh, I knew immediately. It was just wonderful, and she spent a week with me. And we talked, and I wanted to know everything about her childhood and growing up and looking at pictures and just, got to know each other a little bit better. And after that, I went out to Boston and visited her, and I met her adoptive parents, and they were wonderful, just wonderful people. So I was really happy. Very heartwarming to have you